it's me, Sarah from Someday Sarah. I am halfway through making my blanket, which is great, but looking at the size and shape of it right now, I'm thinking that it will end up being a square, which I was hoping it would be taller than it's going to be. But that's life. So I'm learning so many things. One thing, when you have your image and it's in a square shape, it's pretty simple to duplicate and to plan and to know what's going to happen next. But I'm also learning that there's things I would do different next time, that is for sure. I would have angled stitches, which I have not yet tried, but I think I got the gist of how to do it. So things like his knee would not be so square. And also things like, see, this foot here has 2 toes. This foot over here looks kind of like a wedge or a tool or something. I would have like made a black line up the middle and given that foot 2 toes just to make it match. The one thing that I find difficult is, because my pattern of course is not written down, I would have something written down so I know how to better plan the next row. So I'm having to analyze each row and figure out, you have to know, how do I say this? You have to know what's coming in the next row to plan your current row. So like here you see these white stitches on the right. That's because the next white row has double crochets. So you have to know that in advance. You have to plan in advance what's going to happen. So there's a lot of things I would like to learn, do differently. I'm going to have to learn how to write a pattern, I guess, how to write this down, because each row is like a preparation for the next row, which I'm not used to. Anyhow, I'm pretty happy with what's happened so far. It's going to be a cozy blanket. I'd like to make another one with more skill. The back, let me flip over. The back of it is looking like that, which is what I had hoped for, because I didn't like the little loopies on the back of some of them. If you go at a certain angle, I don't know if I could do it here, you can actually see the images, which is kind of weird. Maybe it's the other angle. Nope. I think there. Yeah, you can kind of see a skull there. Anyhow, I'm happy with it. I'll flip that back. And there we go. There's the full view so far. And hopefully I will eventually get through this, maybe even before Halloween, but we'll see. If you watched my previous video, you can see where I took my filet crochet and figured out from there which blanket I wanted to make. So I took this picture and I turned it into the mosaic crochet along with some other examples. So go back and watch that video. I'll link it up in the corner. So this is me doing the process, and you can see how while I'm working on the black row, I'm now going to cover the previous white row, and each row will alternate between either being all black or all white, but you don't pick up black stitches in the middle of the white stitches. You just do the entire row. So it's just an alternating between single crochet or double crochet of the color that you're currently on. So in these stitches, I'm covering up the single crochet of the previous white row, and in the sections that I want to be white, I do a single crochet. It took me a minute to understand which ones I was supposed to be doing, but I think I've got it figured out now. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the edges of my blanket, whether I wanted to feed the ends in or do an edge over them, but I think I've decided that I will just cut them all the same length because I kind of like the frill on the edges. Another thing is I'm really liking how the back is turning out, to not have the edges and the bumps. I did see that you can double side your blanket so you'll have the full image on the back, but I'm really going to have to figure out how to do that before I start working on another version of this. Here's a little sneak peek of where I do some of my work. This is a clip I took last week of where I was, and you can see on the top there with all the stitch markers, I was showing myself where I was going to be on the next row for the white, and there's some smaller parts where it was just a single crochet on the previous round, so I knew to do a double crochet in the next round. This shows how I had to pre-plan each row going into the next row. In the next picture, you can see where I've put some stitch markers in because I was trying to see why my skulls on the side were not lining up with my stitches across the legs. So I was trying to count the rows to see how they math, and the math wasn't mathing. After lots of counting, I think I figured it out. The spacing of my skulls, which is repetitive going up, did not match the rows of the skeletons going up. I found that for some reason they were going up slower so that they were taking up an extra row to make each one. I had to go back and look at my pattern to see where the skulls were not lining up with the body, which they were supposed to. I discovered that this right here is like 1, 2, 3, 4 black lines. But actually, if you were to imagine the white lines that are hidden inside underneath, that there's actually 5 rows. So what I was counting as 4 rows was actually 5 rows. So things weren't lining up where they were supposed to, because in the pattern that I have written down that I'm going off of is my original Filet Crochet pattern that was written out a while back. The number of rows didn't math out because it was supposed to be 4 rows. And that is not equal to 4 rows in mosaic crochet when you're alternating between the black and the white. So I was actually making 5 rows. So I had to go back and move all of my skulls up. So my original Filet Crochet pattern has been dramatically altered and edited, and sadly I don't think I saved the original. I just edited it as I've gone through this blanket. So I'll also have to go back and make 2 copies and recreate the original pattern too. If you want to find out how the blanket ends up, remember to follow, like, comment. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.